Hey guys, it's me Crystal from Marching North. For this video, I decided I would get 4 fresh pairs of scissors that are popular to use for macrame, fabric, any fiber art, really anything that you want to cut except paper. Don't cut paper with them. Okay, you could cut paper with them if you want, but not if you intend to cut fabric with them later. They all are on a scale from really inexpensive, under $10, to a lot more expensive in like the $35, $40 range. I'm gonna take all 4 pairs of scissors that are brand new, never been used, and I'm gonna cut different macrame ropes, different yarn, fabrics, monk's cloth, and some really thick felt, and see how they each do, how they feel, and just try to give you the best description I can of it so you can see the difference before you go out and buy. At the end of this video, I will share my top pick out of these 4 brands for the best scissors for macrame, fiber art, and general fabric cutting, textile, what have you. You can find links to all of the scissors that I'll be talking about today down in the description below. All right, let's get started. So here's the brands that I'm going to be comparing. Here we just have a pair of good old Fiskars, the orange handled scissors that you can get these at Walmart, you can get these at most craft stores. Next up we have this pair that I got from Amazon, and this I'm honestly not even sure what the brand is. They say they're good for leather and fabric and heavy duty fabrics, so I'm interested to test these out and see how they do. And they even come with a tape measure and a seam ripper, so that's kind of fun, I guess. Next up we have these Kai scissors, and these are a Japanese brand, which I'm actually really excited about. I love all things Japanese, but these are really popular. A lot of people say that they like these more than Ginghers, which Ginghers are really good ones too, but these are less expensive. You can see they have a lot of different options in their brand. They have a left-handed version, and I'm excited to try these. These seem like they're lightweight, and I'm really just excited to see how these do. And last up we have our Gingher dressmaker shears, the 8-inch ones. These are what I usually recommend for people. This is the kind of scissors that will last you for your lifetime probably. These are like an heirloom pair of scissors. Okay, first up we have our Fiskars orange handled scissors. But let's open these up. Here we go, a completely fresh pair of Fiskars. You can hear that very satisfying sound. I'm going to compare them to my older pair. These are at least a decade old. These are much harder to open and close and definitely don't feel as smooth as this brand new pair. Okay, that was our pair of Fiskars regular orange handled scissors. I think they did a great job. They are a decent pair of scissors, especially if you're on a budget. They will definitely be fine. You probably will have to replace them every couple of years, but these do great, and you can buy these. There's links down below if you would like to check it out, or you can also just get these at Walmart or your craft store. All right, next up we have our Amazon pair of scissors. These are Proshear Professional Tailor Shears, 8-inch new, designed by Proshear in USA, made in China. I've seen people mention these. They are advertised as being used for leather and fabrics, and I will say they're heavy. They got some heft to them. They got some weight. Oh, it looks like there is some oil possibly going on there. I'm gonna wipe that off real quick. I don't want it getting on my stuff. Let's see, it came a little oily, So I'm wiping off some excess oil here before we get started. Here's what, ew, there's what that looks like. We tested the Proshear scissors that I had never tried before or heard of before until this, and they did a good job. I will say they do seem heavier than the Fiskars. They cut more smoothly than the Fiskars. I feel like they would cut through thicker fabric. The one thing is that once you get up to about here, they're not as sharp. Like they cut really, really well all the way until about right here, and then at this tip, they're not quite as sharp. So that's something you might keep in mind. And also they came with some thick brown oil on the blades, so definitely if you get these, be sure to clean them off before you use them. They say they can cut through leather, and I don't have any leather in this test today, but I would imagine thin leather, these would have no problem cutting through. Next up is our Kai 8-inch dressmaking shears, and I just love this soft handle, feeling good. So I guess the handle is, yeah, it's squishy. Wow, that's cool. You can see these are made in Japan, and these are a bit cheaper than Gingher, although they are more expensive than the other two we just tried out. They feel lightweight, and let's see how they do. So no weird goo on the blades. That's a good sign. I didn't really think to look at that until that last pair. This pair is much lighter than the ones the Proshear ones that I just tried out. That was a struggle. Getting through this with these was a struggle. I'm gonna do it again. That was definitely harder to cut than it was. I think the Fiskars even cut it easier than that. Even all the way up to the very end of the scissors, you can see they still cut all the way to the tip, like very well. These are the Kai scissors we just tested, and I have to say I'm impressed. They did not do as well for the super thick cord like this stuff or the super thick cotton rope. They really had to kind of give it several squeezes to get it all the way through. But for everything else, these did really good. They really did well with the fringe. They cut the fringe perfectly all the way to the end of the scissors, were just as sharp as the center. And with the fabric, they cut through it like butter. Now it is time for the last pair that we're going to be trying today. And these are the ones that I recommend the most, because I've had a pair of Gingher scissors for a while and they are just so sharp and awesome. The great thing about Gingher scissors is they're like an artisan pair of scissors that you can have sharpened, and they're gonna last for years and years and years. These are the blunt tip serrated knife edge dressmaker shears. I picked up the 8-inch. They come in other sizes as well. These are manufactured in Italy, have use and care instructions. They also have a full lifetime warranty, which is kind of cool. I have previously opened this just because I wanted to see that everything was the way it was supposed to be, but I have not actually taken them out of the plastic yet. These come with a sheath, which is a nice touch because these are some crazy sharp scissors. So you see, here's the sheath. You can just pop them in there. That's nice. Oh, let me see if I can show this from a better angle. This is the only pair of scissors that I actually was able to cut through this with one squeeze. Okay, it was almost one squeeze. That was like a squeeze and a half, which is not even comparable to the others, really. Oh, it's like I barely even have to squeeze. It's like it just cuts by touching it almost. I'm basically like just loosely closing my hand and it's just going through. Oh, yeah, that's like butter. It's like not even trying. And this is thick, thick felt. All right, there is definitely no doubt about which pair is the sharpest and the most able to cut through thick fabrics and rope. The Ginghers were able to cut through the really thick rope with almost just one squeeze. And I'm not, I'm using the same amount of pressure for each one. These are very sharp, awesome scissors. They're also the most expensive of the four. And the great thing about these is once you buy them, you can keep having them resharpened each year if you want, but they will last forever. And these are like solid construction. They even have a warranty. All right, here's our 4 contenders for our best scissors for macrame and fiber art. My choice for the best pair is going to be hands down the Ginghers. They were the sharpest by far. They cut through thick rope, they cut through thin rope, they cut through fabric, and they were sharp all the way from here to here. And I barely even had to squeeze when I was cutting some of the stuff. And they were the only pair that cut through the super thick rope with almost just one squeeze. It took like 1.5 squeezes for the really thick rope, but that's not even close compared to the others. I would say my runner-up pair would be the Kai, these ones. They are also a great pair of scissors because they're super lightweight. They're definitely probably half as heavy as the Ginghers. If you're using these for macrame or just for sewing or whatever you're using these for, these do just fine with the regular size rope. For fringe and macrame, these do a great job. They're sharp all the way to the tip. And the great thing about these is they have a very comfortable handle. They're lightweight and they're a little bit more affordable than the Ginghers, but they're still a great pair of scissors. They did struggle on the thick rope. I had to really kind of saw several times to get through, but they did cut it eventually. And, unless you're cutting lots of really thick, heavy rope, these would be just fine too. As for these two, I'm going to talk about the Fiskars first because they're like my old standby that I've always had for years. These are not a bad pair of scissors. They're definitely a budget option. They're, under 10 bucks and you can get them at the craft store at Walmart or on Amazon. They're definitely not even close to as sharp as these ones over here, but they do a good job. And as long as they're a pretty fresh pair and you don't use them for paper or anything, they'll work too. I have been using my old pair of Fiskars that I have here to cut fringe and stuff and, in a pinch, and they do the job. They're definitely not my go-to, but they're there in case I need them. So, if you're on a budget, these are definitely still a good option and they will do the job if you're just getting started with macrame or with fiber art, whatever you're doing. As for these Proshear scissors, they're not bad. They are very oily. Like I'm getting oil on there's still oil coming out of them. While I understand why they need to oil the blades, if you weren't aware of that and you went and cut into your macrame rope or your fabric right away, that could be a disaster. So if you do order these, be sure to clean them off first with a dry cloth. Besides that, they were sharp. They did a pretty good job for most of it. The only thing is the end of these scissors right here is not as sharp as the rest of it. So it would do a good job to like here, and then it kind of struggled for the end. So that's something to keep in mind. They cost a little bit more than the Fiskars, and they're definitely more of a heavy duty scissors. You might be able to cut lightweight leather with this. Of these 4 pairs of scissors, this would probably be the last one I'd pick. Like I said earlier, there's links below to all of these scissors in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. Be sure to check out the written blog post down there too if you want more information. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please leave a like, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more crafty tutorials and DIYs. Thanks for watching!